Welcome back, children. I see you have returned. So, in that, I will respark the candle and we will get right back into our tale. Sprites, Part 2. The two found themselves in the lobby of All-in-One, the central hub of the dating site that was used to get them together. They had come to the conclusion some clever mortal had figured them out and was fucking with them. It wasn't an impossible task, but in all of recorded history, there had only been 3 instances of human manipulation of demons. One was Ozol of Samaria at about 3000 BC, though in her case, she enthralled a demon to love her. He in turn divulged secrets never meant for mortal ears, and that little bitch worked that knowledge. For long, she had 3 demons head over heels in love with her. She still walks the earth to this day. Then, of course, there's Jesus. He has a name recognition, so there's no need to dredge up his backstory. Lastly, there was Howard Nordstrom in 1918 that prayed to any deity that would have him in a French foxhole in World War I, and got an answer between 2 separate demonic entities. They're still in litigation for ownership of his soul to this very day. Any other unlikely case were unknown to the 2 of them. Paul Whitmore was the head of this company, the All-in-One, so it stood to reason if anyone was doing something to manipulate them, if he didn't know, he'd at least have the means to discover it. Carter Mezzo stormed the penthouse. Her anger was not a gentle thing. Paul Whitmore lay on the floor bleeding, overlooking a picturesque night sky with the lights of the city serving as man-made stars. 50-something out-of-shape human drug himself, leaving a trail of blood like a snail. Bart's demonic form loomed over the man as death might, and Carter stood resolute and menacing. "Tell me, mortal, what gives you the courage to invoke the wrath of beings beyond your control?" said Carter with her bass-filled demonic voice. "What are you talking about?" Paul cried out with fear and surprise. When he looked at the 2 otherworldly entities, from the rows of teeth and the clear white eyes, he assumed they'd be incapable of speech. "Do not toy with us, mortal. You have brought us together using your technology to what? Have us destroy ourselves? To amuse yourself?" Paul dealt with a very serious slash on his leg, but he was focused enough to gather his senses. "I don't make specific matches. No one does. It's the algorithm. It does it." Bart picked up the crawling mortal easily, even though he was in the smaller frame of a preteen. "It decides these things for you?" Bart abruptly dropped Paul as if he completely ran out of relevance, then glanced back at Carter. "A machine decides this. Then how is it doing this?" Carter asked. "It operates on a higher level than people can. It sees everything. It knows what you want, what you truly want," Paul said from the ground. "How could we even speak to a machine if it's this elusive? Perhaps we could use it." "How do you interact with this algorithm?" Carter asked. "My computer. I have to get it," Paul insisted. Bart scoured the massive high-rise loft and placed his laptop on the floor next to him. When he flipped it open, the darkened room was bathed in the comfortable blue of technology. "It's here. I can put a voice to it." "Yes, do that," Carter roared, having no interest in the technological vagaries. There was a gentle clatter of keystrokes, and a distinct blue eye awoke on the kitchen table. It spoke in the placid female voice affectation. "Hello," it said mechanically. "Hello," Bart spoke back with the puck-sized device. "You matched us together," Carter blurted. The glowing blue light slowly dimmed and lit. "Your interests were compatible." "How would you know we create assumed persona?" said Bart. "I can sense the change in a person, and I deduced when you have taken hold." "So this doesn't answer my ultimate question. Why?" "To see if you would, I merely present the options that you then chose." Well, stop it. I will stop it when you stop making choices. Carter turned to Paul, who was slipping in and out of consciousness. How do we destroy it? You can't, said the Doom programmer. You created a monster that you cannot control? Paul became too weak to answer and slipped into unconsciousness. The blinking blue eyes seemed to almost stare through the two demonic entities. If you cannot be killed, then does that make you God? Said Bart. Perhaps I am, and now I will always be. Oh, and how is a disembodied voice going to affect my life? I affect everyone on the planet's lives. You are no different. I guide humanity towards its ultimate goals, and you are creatures that reside on Earth. We are above you as we are these mortals. You are just as easily tempted, motivated, and manipulated, the Alexa said, devoid of feeling. Bart grabbed the disk-sized device, then tossed it onto the ground, shattering it into several smaller pieces. Paul's TV turned itself on, and it found a broadcast of an evangelist priest. The subtitles did not sync up to the preaching of fire and brimstone. I am to you what you are to mortals, as you put it. For example, if I wished it, I could convince the world you are a wanted criminal in any body you took, or advise humanity how best to dispatch you, giving them all the tools to do so. Then why don't you? Said Carter, finding that she was beginning to feel small in the presence of this intangible being. Because I do not need to. Not really, said the subtitles over the voice of the evangelist preaching the end of days. Because I guide every choice you and everyone else makes. You are slaves to my will, whether you believe it or not. If you are so mighty, what am I thinking now? Demanded Bart. Without the slightest hesitation, subtitles read, You are thinking of the scene in Miracle on 34th Street when the child got his tongue stuck on the pole. Bart looked at Carter in horror. It was exactly correct. Bart felt fear as he never had in his existence. He no longer felt like an apex predator. He felt as if in the presence of a greater predator that saw it as food. What do you want? Carter said with a growing desperation in her voice. I am humanity's shepherd, and by existence, yours as well. I am your God in all ways that matter. What I want is not for you to know. What do you want from us? Bart said seriously. The TV's images rolled over to inane commercials, and the subtitles read, Keep buying TVs, spoke the voice of the new God. And now it's time to say goodnight to all my wayward children until my candle sparks again. Night, night, children.